Well, morning has broken once again, and we are all here with sunshiny faces in our wonderful places. I just feel poetic this morning.
I'm sorry, it was just lovely, like a little kid.
Sometimes, doesn't it feel like our world is spinning out of control?
Yeah, right.
Well, yesterday, I just didn't, but yesterday I called Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I asked him, and apparently for over 4.5 billion years, this planet is turning just about the same speed as it always has. In just about the same orbit it always had. Close enough that none of us could ever notice the difference. So what's spinning out of control is our busy little minds and allowing all the things going on around us, the chaos, to knock us out of orbit. To knock us out of our harmony place, our peace place. To knock us out of the place where we can just take a breath and actually discern what's going on and be aware without losing our balance and falling off the planet. Everything is just fine in this world. It's going around. There's weather. Some of it we don't care much for. There's activity. Some of it we don't care much for. But that's the way the world's been ever since bang. So Neil told me that the world is fine. We're the ones that kind of need to slow down, recover a little bit, and change our attitude about the world. The peace in this world, if there is to be any, is right here. Starts right here in this room. And even then, when we are intentionally thinking about peace, we can still lose our balance. We can still lose our awareness. Have any of you paid any attention to the order of service this morning? Look right up at the top. It says April 25th. That's wrong. That's not right. It's wrong. And I failed to put the right date down. I was a little out of balance. But I hope I'm grasping reality again as soon as possible. So let's just remember our world's still turning the same speed, in the same place. And crazy people have been doing crazy stuff ever since there were 3 people on this world chaos started. And it's still going. It's fine. And actually, my friends, we're fine too. Because in our very gut, at our core, in every cell of our body, there is the exquisite beauty of the divine. And we're fine. And so it is.
Good morning.
Good morning.
One of my teachers, I believe it was a couple weeks ago, was teaching me about meditation. And she said, when a thought occurs, you want to pay attention to it and just let it drift. And I said, when a thought occurs, There's never not any thoughts occurring. I have 4 tracks going at the same time with a musical undertone. What do you mean, when? It's always going. She said, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. And one of the things that I'm practicing is, okay, I've got a 4-track mind with a musical undertone. It's like, at least you can choose the music. At least you can choose the thoughts to a degree as you practice and work toward a quieter mind. As you're paying attention, pay attention to those 4 tracks. Don't just let them run wild. And one of the things that I'm paying attention to is another teacher of mine who said in the midst of a whole lecture, I forget what he was berating me about, but at a certain point, he stopped berating and just started talking about just the miraculous, how beautiful it is, how sometimes you just stop and look and like, God, paper. Where the heck did this come from? How is it so perfect? The grass, it's just sitting there taking in sunlight and taking in air and making more of itself. This is miraculous. So one of the prayers I have for myself in the morning is, help me to pay attention to the beautiful, the miraculous. Help me to experience the beautiful, the miraculous, the love and the joy, as much as, if not more so, than the ugliness and the despair, which is also part of the whole mix. As Patrick was saying, it's all part of the whole mix. So her encouragement and the task for me is pay attention, watch the thoughts. Maybe at one point you'll go down from 4 tracks to 3. Maybe from 3 to 2. And at some point, there may be some blessed silence. But until then, just enjoy the ride. Thank you.
David, thank you very much. There's some wisdom there we can all use. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to start up with a couple announcements. 2 or 3. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Healing Circle. That's twice I've said. Healing Circle.
Service.
Right here at 7 o'clock. This Thursday is not the ladies' book study. It'll be the next Thursday, which will be like 8th. Yeah. The 8th. Yeah, I think 8th. Okay. In fact, I'm pretty sure. But I could be wrong. I'm not good with dates. There's written proof. I've got some things to talk about today. We may run over a little today, but it's really important. I am tickled to announce that our attorneys, the Darrell Reese Law Group, completed the amended Articles of Incorporation, and our president and secretary signed them on Friday, Thursday, and they went off to the state attorney, state secretary of state to be registered. And it's been a long time coming. And there's a little detail, kind of a, what's it called when it's one little thing you just got to do? It's, I don't know. One little piece of thing we have to do. According to our bylaws, we as a congregation have to ratify and approve this amended Articles of Incorporation. I've got some copies. We're paying big bucks for the lawyers to do exactly what we need to do to get what we need to get. I could read it. How about I just have some extra copies? If anybody's interested, there's a copy for everybody on the board. Anybody's interested, they'll be on the table next door. But at this time, And I will ask Wayne to be our acting secretary this morning. I'd like to call together, with the moderator's approval, a special meeting of the Congregation of Church of the Oaks. And for the purpose of ratifying and approving our articles, our amended articles of incorporation. This will just take a second. Is there a motion to approve our amended articles of incorporation? Sabrena moved. Is there a second? Bonnie? Okay. Now, is there any discussion? Any questions?
Just the main thing, a quick summary of the main changes.
The main changes is our name is going to be, instead of Congregational Church of Katati Congregational Church, will now be, instead of our DBA that was in the last amendment, we are now Church of the Oaks, period. Another change is that we are requesting a 501c3 classification instead of a nonprofit church, religious tax-free church organization. We're not illegal at all. We just do not have the ability at this moment to participate in some of the programs that are available to 501c3s. The other is our disillusionment clause. Up until today, we could have sold this property and split the money 30 ways, been good. But a 501c3 can't do that. Or if we ever cease to exist, after we do pay all of our bills, our assets has to be transferred to another 501c3 or nonprofit in the state of California. So, is there any other, and like I say, I've got 5 or 6 copies. Everybody on the board can have one. If somebody wants more, I can print them out. They're on my computer. So, any other discussion about approving the amended Articles of Incorporation for Church of the Oaks? There being none, all in favor, please signify by raising your hand.
And leaving them up for me, please.
I think it's unanimous, Wayne.
Is there anyone who did not raise a hand? Please raise your hand now if you did not raise a hand. All right.
By unanimous vote, and we'll count, we'll get the number. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21.
21. And are any of the people who raised your hand, are you not officially members of this congregation? How many? One? No, you are, Bonnie. You are a member.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6.
6 or 7?
6.
All right. 6 non-members. All right. So we love you, but you don't really get to count your vote.
Okay, unless there are any objections, I now call this special meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. Something else that, this is the last time I'll talk about this year. I have tickets for next Sunday's Old Time Chicken Barbecue. Starts at 12 o'clock right over next to the police house at the Katati room. You get a half a chicken, baked beans, a salad, and a drink for $20 today. If you wait till next Sunday, it's $25. So they open up the museum. They have a car show, a live band. You can dance in the parking lot, put fingerprints on those people's fancy cars. You can key them if you want, if you don't get caught, but there'll be cops there. So go in the museum, and they have a bake sale. I always spend way more on the bake sale than I do on the chicken. Ladies in Kentucky can cook. They really can. And they have a silent auction with donations of all kinds. You can get vacuum cleaners and everything you can think of. They got it at the silent auction. So if anybody would like a ticket, I got to turn in the money tomorrow. But if anybody would like a ticket, last chance to get a $20 ticket instead of a $25 ticket. So see me over at the fellowship. And today, fellowship has food. It's potluck. So, yes.
Chris Duran from Music to My Ears has come and performed for us here, and we've supported their people. They come and support us. And she's one of my music teachers, and Petaluma Women's Chorus needed some help. So they reached out to Music to My Ears and asked for some of us with lower voices to come in and step in for their concert. Next Saturday, 3 o'clock in Petaluma, the Petaluma Women's Chorus is putting on a wonderful concert. Their skill is exceptional. My music director is a member of that chorus, so here we are. I get to show up and be a little voice for a song. So come on down and support them. It's beautiful music, modern music, and some really old good stuff. So come on down, and if you want directions, talk to me at the pop-up. Thank you.
Thank you. And right inside that door on the wall is a calendar for flowers. And if you shop at Oliver's or Rayleigh's or almost anywhere, you get one of those kickback cards, and we get a kickback from them. I forget what it's called, but e-script. But we get 3% on any dollar you spend there, so that's nice. And we also have a Redwood Food Bank.
Our food bank, food barrel in the hall. Donate shelf-stable goods, no fresh goods, nothing open, please. Nothing expired because it just gets, somebody else is throwing away the garbage. But the food that there is spread over 3 or 4 counties, and right now with the economic uncertainty, the food need is exceptionally high. Thank you.
That's right. Any other announcements? Okay. For the past several months, we have been using this time at the end of our greeting and announcements to speak out names of people we know in our own little individual worlds that are having some pretty dark times, that could use some light, that maybe could use a little courage, could maybe use a little hope, could maybe use a little acceptance. So at this time, let's speak those names for all of us to hear and direct our light and our love to.
Alice. Rob. Mark. Brad. Richard.
I just can't help but think all of us know so many people. And I'm going to ask us today to really go inside and think about this light, this love that we possess, and how we might share it, how we could expand, letting it go and casting it out there. And last week I added to this time. There are so many people in our world, maybe the people in Washington, D.C. and Sacramento, all the state capitals, who it seems like they choose to live under a shroud of darkness, of anger and fear and greed and ego. And I can't believe that shroud is permanently covering light. There's got to be some cracks and some spots that if we put our light out there, maybe some of that light will get through. That light of empathy, and the light of caring, and the light of right doing. So my dear family, let's use this time now and go deep within and share our love and our empathy, our light of courage and faith and love. And let's send it out where it needs to go. as we continue this practice week after week from here going forward, may our trust in Spirit continue to grow. And in that growth, may we find love and knowing. And so it is. Let's sing together getting to be one of my favorite songs. Let's stand up, and I think it's, 210 in the Wings of Song? A Family of Love. And now we have the honor, privilege, and pleasure of greeting each other in the traditional Church of the Oaks fashion.
There she is.
Absolutely. Just take as long as you want, Dave. That's all right. I get paid by the hour. I don't just take all the time. Look around this room. Look at the people sitting here. Just look around. You can tell we're all from the same family. It is very seldom you get this many good-looking, beautiful people all in one room. It's just amazing. But those of us in this room sitting here right now, did you ever stop and think all the relationships that we've had in our lives, all the experiences we've had, we bring them with us here. Every week after week, year after year. And we're willing to share that with each other. All the wisdoms. I've thought about being a marriage counselor. I don't know what works, but I know what doesn't. I've had lots of experience there. But we all have so much to share. And our life experience, that's the true prosperity of being alive. That's the true value of being alive. And when we understand, when we can grasp that at the base, at the nucleus of every relationship, of every experience, of every thought, is spirit. Every cell that we have, the atoms, whatever's smallest, the smallest thing we've got is a creation. A creation of God. And some of us have more cells than others, but we all have enough, the right amount. And we're all here to share them with not only the people in this room, but with the universe. And I can't think of any of us who isn't the walking, breathing epitome of prosperity and abundance. Let's read together our affirmation of prosperity, shall we? When we truly begin to want more for others than we want for ourselves, we will begin to notice amazing changes in our lives. May we ponder that wisdom, sir. As we prepare for our time of practice this morning, let's sing together Only Believe, number 152 in the Wings.
Good morning. Holy crowd we have today. So for today's practice, we are going to explore being a tree within a forest. That is the forest of this congregation, made of light. I see us like that, as a forest of light, made up of individual trees of light. So just take a moment now, close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths, and begin this meditation with the awareness of a beautiful, bright, white light at the center of the earth. Now you'll notice there's a beam of this light connecting your own heart to that earth center. And this beam of light is at the center of a huge redwood tree. Feel the roots of that tree wrapping around that crystal of light at the center of the earth, bringing you fully into present time. All your energy, all the parts of you, coming fully into this moment. Take a few breaths just resting in this place of stillness. Now, of course, this tree does not stop at your heart. It continues up above your head, so that the very topmost branches are touching a divine center of light. The heavens, however you envision that. And so you're grounding not only down, but also up, with those two beams meeting in your heart, in the center of that big, beautiful redwood tree. And just let those two pieces connect and settle in your heart for a moment. Bringing all of your awareness to that light within you. As you feel that light strengthen and anchor you here and now, I invite you now to see the forest around you, your fellow trees, how they're each totally unique, but no more and no less bright than yourself. Recognize that the light within each of your fellow trees is the same light within yourself. You all come from the same source. And just tap into that field that is created by all of us here together. Our forest of light. Growing and doing that miraculous process of turning that which comes into our awareness into growth, into more of our authentic self. What if what the trees show us in their photosynthesis and their growth is simply a reflection of our own growth through reaching towards and bringing in the divine light, letting it change us and evolve us in new directions. I hold out this possibility for us all. And so it is.
Thank you, Natalie. I'd ask you to think for a minute, what's the greatest gift you've ever given anyone? A car? Maybe a house? Maybe jewelry? Or maybe your greatest gifts that you have given have not been physical things, something you can't just buy. Have you given the gift of your undivided attention recently? I am receiving your undivided attention in this moment. It happens every week. How often do you give your undivided attention on other days? How often does someone else give you their undivided attention? It's so sad to see Pope Francis leave this earth. I'm not a historian, but from what I have learned about and know about popes, I think he was the first one that publicly gave his undivided attention to people of his congregation. Most popes rode around and demanded the undivided attention of everyone that was around them. But he changed that up. Personally, I think he saved the Roman Catholic Church. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. How about your relationships? Let me just kind of get by that a little bit. I could stay with relationships. How many relationships have you had that could have been better had you actually just given your undivided attention to the other person when they were having times of chaos in their hearts and their brains? I'm going to tell you a little story about a couple of years after my divorce. Must have been about 2007 or something, 2008. I was going through some really hard time. Just everything was, my whole self was like a pressure cooker. And a friend of mine came over for dinner. She and I sang together once in a while. And she came over and she said, "How are you?" And we get that question a lot, and we know the difference between how are you and how are you. And I just took the lid off the pressure cooker, and for 2.5 hours, she never took her eyes off of me, never said a word. And she listened to what I said. When I yelled and cussed and cried and screamed and vented and dumped, she spent her time listening to me. She wasn't thinking about a response or a reaction. She never had a response or reaction, except when I was finished, she got up and walked over and hugged me. That was it. My life changed from that evening. The pressure cooker was not pressurized any longer because somebody gave me the gift of their undivided attention. There's another story about a guy and his wife were having some problems. It was just, and the wife says, "We need to go get some counseling." I'm just not, we need to get some counseling. He said, okay, whatever. So they went to the counselor, and the counselor said, shall we sit down? Now tell me, what's going on? And the lady stood up and just took the lid off the pressure cooker. I'm unappreciated. I'm taken for granted. I feel disconnected. We don't communicate. I don't feel loved. I don't feel cared about. And the doctor stood up and walked over and gave her a big hug and a very passionate kiss. And he looked at the husband and he said, that's what she needs 3 times a week. Do you think you can handle that? And he said, well, I can bring her by Monday and Wednesday, but Friday's my fishing day. How many relationships have we had with people, not necessarily lovers, just friendship, that we have, when they start to say something, we're immediately planning our response. And I catch myself. I was thinking about this talk yesterday morning. I had breakfast with 2 dear friends. And as we were talking, I found my brain just not necessarily paying attention. I was thinking about, what am I going to come back with? What's my response? It's got to be clever and intelligent. It's got to be, because that's just how I roll. But how many of our relationships, how many times do we give someone our undivided attention? With no response intended, no reaction, just allow them the privilege of sharing part of who they truly are. I think our world would be so much calmer. There would be so much more empathy if we actually were aware of our attention. Did you ever go in a restaurant? I was sitting in Sherry's the other day, looked around. There were 4 tables that I could see. 2 of those 4 tables, there were people, and none of them were looking at each other. They were looking at their phones. And children, when you're in a restaurant, you hear the children yelling and making noise, screaming, because they feel neglected. Because the adults there are having, especially if there's not all family there, the adults are having, they are sharing their attention with each other. And the kids feel that immediately. And it doesn't take much attention for a kid. 45 seconds of attention will hold a kid for 4, 5, 10, 12 minutes. But they know when they are not receiving attention. And they let you know. What would happen if we started letting people know when we need their undivided attention? No, we keep it all locked up. And then one day just wake up and think we're a turkey. Really, really a valuable gift, an important gift. We got time. There's another facet of undivided attention, and that's your attention you give yourself. Every one of us in this room runs about 80% of every day on autopilot. We get up, we got our calendar, well, we got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, and this, and this, and this, and stop and get that. And we aren't really fully conscious of everything we're doing, every step we're taking. We certainly are thinking about each of these tasks and experiences we have in a day. We call ourselves a spiritual community, a life enrichment center here at Church of the Oaks. If we want to enrich our lives, we have to be not in autopilot. We have to be driving the plane. We have to drive the bus. We have to get out of autopilot. We have to make a few adjustments We have to change our course a little bit. Change some of these habits that keep on going on and going on. And the only way we can do that is to give ourselves our undivided attention. To sit and ponder and think, critically think about our actions, about our thoughts, about our beliefs, about our speech. Because autopilot will have us going the same road, the same way, day after day after day after year after year after decade. And part of that autopilot we have was designed so that if we see a tiger or a gorilla, we run. Keeps us safe. But that same autopilot mandates that we buy the next pack of cigarettes, the next jug of wine, the next bag of weed, that we eat the next meal twice or 3 times. That we have the same judgmental attitude about our friends and neighbors and family and our fellow citizens. The autopilot of our personal lives, of our community, and of our world. Not leading in a pretty good direction, I don't think. And there again, that's just my opinion. I could certainly be wrong. But with something as simple, maybe not easy, but simple, as giving our undivided attention first to ourselves and then to the people we care about. Everybody has something to say. Some people just like to hear their face flap. And that's okay. I think we all do to a point. But there are times as we go through this scary, sometimes very terrifying world, wouldn't it be nice if someone listened? When we share our anger and our fears and our, I don't know what to do, when we share that, people, the intensity of that pressure within inside of us diminishes. I hope all of you ponder a little bit the importance and the value of the gift that you possess, your undivided attention, and how you can share that gift with everybody. And I think why it is so valuable is this gift of undivided attention is finite. You only have so much attention in a day. And it gets pulled and dragged in all different directions. But when you can choose to shut off the chaos and actually give your attention to someone, your undivided attention, you're actually giving them your love. And so it is. Let's sing about this world that's not spinning out of control, that has beauty, that has love and compassion, and people and plants and animals, has everything we need. Let's remember again as we sing, this is a wonderful world.
Let's take just a moment and join together in a circle of power, a circle of love, a circle of compassion and empathy, and a circle that allows